Welcome to our podcast, This Life, the Chronicles of Autism Moms. I'm Alison and I'm joined each week by amazing women who happen to have children on the spectrum. We talk about navigating the ups and downs of parenting kids with autism and how that affected us and our lives as women, professionals and mothers. Strap in, grab some tissues. Sometimes you'll cry from empathy and others from laughter. Join us on our journey of this life. In a place that's familiar to them, their safe place, their home.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you've had a lot more of these conversations, and you have a lot more of those conversations over the break period because they have time to process?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, that they have, they don't have any homework to do or places to go. So then when they are left on their own, then they're like, they're discovering that, we don't feel good about ourselves, and they don't know what to do.
It's not fun. It's discovering.
Yeah. They're like, they go into overthinking and they get into these spirals.
Yeah,
and
like us.
Like us, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things where it's so important to also always keep that in mind and work on like emotional, awareness and understanding, so they can kind of understand their emotions
as well.
And know how to because when they start in that spiral, also us, you kind of go into a spiral and it takes you to places and you overthink and all that, and trying to understand what works for you, to notice that, like, is this true? That's like the first question you need to ask. Is it true? Do you really hate yourself? Why do you hate yourself? For example.
Yeah.
And you kind of go into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
But, you need to be very aware of, like, when they're open to having these conversations as well. Not to force it because you're worried and you want it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They need to be in the space. Get the right information.
But my point is just, generally speaking, always keeping, like, emotional well-being in, the top of your head, and learning how to teach them that about themselves and, like, how they need to recalibrate.
So almost, if they have that thought, then it's like what you tell them.
I think that goes for every single human being on this planet.
Absolutely, but it's like your response to that.
Yes.
So it's whether or not you choose. Sometimes it's not about choosing it. I think it's also about what space you're in.
Yeah.
What's going on around you.
Yeah. I feel like mindfulness plays such a big role in this because whatever type of meditation or prayer or whatever, kind of thing that you could do, it's just like that exercise of giving yourself a little bit of time to just be and not do. And then be and not do. Mm-hmm. And also just kind of become non-reactive to whatever thoughts you're having. Yeah. Where it's really funny, I was saying this to somebody yesterday, that with the misconception I feel like people have about meditation is that they try it and then their mind goes haywire and they notice how many thoughts they're having. They're like, I wasn't able to stop thinking. And that's not actually what happens when you meditate. You're not going to stop thinking. That's like your brain cannot actually do that. But the point is for you to be in stillness and you notice, you observe your thoughts, and you don't react to it. And if you did, that's okay. You're compassionate with yourself. And once you have the awareness that your mind wandered, you just bring yourself back to whatever's anchoring you in whatever type of meditation, whether you're focusing on your breath or you're focusing on like your physical senses, like a sight, smell, touch, whatever. There's so many different ways. It's a whole, thing. But you bring yourself back to the present moment. And that back and forth of wondering and then noticing that you're wondering and then making a choice of, is this something that I want to pursue right now and do something about, or do I want to bring myself back to this meditation or whatever it is?
Yeah, or wherever it is that you're going. So it's
like
an awareness.
It is an awareness of your thoughts
directing
and
your
feelings.
Depending on, that's good advice for any break. Okay. So, at the start of this episode, we talked about, and you talked about coming home from the break, but needing a break or a vacation from vacation, which is, I think, true from all of us. You need to want to go to come back. So when you're back in your home after a long break away, and you're trying to settle your son back into routines, you're trying to get back into a routine and recenter yourself. You know, what techniques do you use to kind of get yourself grounded quickly and get back into your routines ready for the start of...
I think we need another episode to
Yeah.
talk about this. So honestly, there's like so many different ways of trying to do this. I'm a firm believer of mindfulness and like meditation, but I kind of feel like we're all different people and we have to kind of explore the topic in different
we've
ways.
been doing it for so many years
And
now,
you kind of like need to find like what works for you. There's so many different techniques and stuff. I try my best to practice mindfulness, but I'm not 100% there yet with like being like an everyday part of my life, because sometimes I get busy and I forget about it or whatever. But when I do catch myself like super burnt out and I have the time and I make the effort to do that for myself, it always helps. And then I forget about it for a while. I'm like, oh, when I do it again, I'm like, why have I not been doing this every day?
You have a crutch basically. So you have
It's something
something
that
to go back to, something to recenter you.
It's definitely something that does exactly do that. It grounds me and it kind of sets me up for, I kind of feel like success, to be honest, for the day or for whatever situation, you know, we're discussing. And bringing that back to being on break, this is part of the struggle I have when I'm on a break and being out of my routine. Yeah, we're on a break. Yeah, friends. But yeah, so I just feel like when I'm so out of like my routine, it's hard for me to kind of do these types of things because my days are crazy. I have like no structure to them. It's just like being flexible and going with the flow, which is great for a certain period of time.
Yeah, exactly.
But then I get to a point where I realize like, oh, I'm not taking care of myself, or I'm not doing things for myself that charge me up, where then I can show up, you know, in my best self.
Right. And that's really important. I think that's a really key thing that we don't think about. We're busy when we come back. We're busy trying to set our kids up for a good break.
Yeah.
We're busy with our families trying to set them up for a great time. So everybody sees each other, has a great time, and yada. And then when we get back, we're trying to set the kids up and the family up so that everybody's ready to go again.
Yes.
But like you say, where's our energy, you know, coming from?
Yeah.
And it's about recentering ourselves and getting back to good practices.
Definitely.
Of eating, sleeping.
Sleep is so important.
Communication.
Social stuff, meeting your friends.
That's so important.
Very
That was the
important,
first thing
very
that we
Oh
wanted.
my God, yes.
That's all we wanted to do when we got back.
Yeah.
You know, a group of my friends.
Yeah.
We were like, well, I'm just going to get off the plane then and we'll just catch up.
Yeah.
Because it's those strong connections, the people that make you feel good and boost you.
Yeah.
And, you know, give you that energy in a way. You know,
You're literally recharging.
Exactly. And exercise as well. I mean, you know, we were doing lots of walking and stuff over the summer, but it wasn't the exercise that I was used to. And I was like, I can't wait to get back and get on my bike and, you know, all of those things that I kind of take for granted, but I make time because I've learned to make time to fit them into my schedule.
Yes.
So 30 minutes a day, you know, I could be doing something different. I could be actually even talking to my kids for 30 minutes. And I think probably like 3 or 4 years ago, I would have been like, actually, I won't do that. I won't do my exercise. I need to sit with my kids. You know, they've come home from school, or this is an important time. I need to talk with them. And now I'm just like, actually, I'm going to go and do my exercise.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I feel better for that, and I feel more equipped to finish my day in the right way, or listen to, I don't know, the 100 million stories that have happened at school, or, you know, deal with the homework in a happier frame of mind, because it's not on my mind that I haven't done my exercise, or I haven't eaten right, or whatever.
Yeah, I think it just goes back to the like concept of self-care again, and discovering what that means to you personally. And making that a priority, and understanding that it's not selfish of you to take care of yourself, because when you do that, you are going to show up as a better mother, as a better wife, as a better friend, as a better whatever roles you play in your life. So it's really, I think, and everyone has their own journey of making that discovery. And sometimes you kind of understand the concept of it, but you don't actually apply it in your life. And then slowly but surely you learn how to do that. And it almost feels like, for me, it feels like, kind of like you know what? I am worth giving this half an hour, 1 hour, whatever it is,
it's
time for me
your time.
to go do my workout or go to the spa and rest, or to, you know what, I'm exhausted, didn't sleep well, to just take that extra nap after school or whatever it is.
Just to turn around to everybody and say, I'm tired.
Yes.
So that is
I'm tired. Leave me alone.
Like,
just for a little bit.
But just for a little bit. And personally, I don't think I'm fully there. So I don't think that I'm at a point where I pick my days.
Yeah.
So, and I'm flexible. So I make plans. Yeah. But I don't know, earlier this week, there's a couple of things that came up in the afternoon that meant that I couldn't do what I had planned to do, which was 30 minutes of exercise. Yeah. And I was okay with that. I wasn't like, because I was like, actually, I can do that tomorrow. It's fine. But it's recognizing that, you know, we need to be flexible, but ultimately we have to give ourselves that time. And I think 5 years ago, 6 years ago,
no way.
No, I would have felt so guilty.
Definitely.
So bad.
Yes.
You know, even you and I, we were talking about going to get our hair done next week. Yeah. But it was supposed to be this week, but just because things have come up. Yeah. But I'm even more looking forward to going together to get it done. But it will be. But also, I don't feel guilty about it. We just need to fit it in and to get it right and to do it when we're not in a rush and we're not in a hurry.
Because we don't want it to stress us out more. We just want to enjoy it.
No, exactly. It's very valuable time. So it's recognizing the time's valuable. Booking it in when we know everything's calm at home. Everyone's going to be fine. Pick a good time to do it.
You know, I've seen that. Sorry, just like 1 minute. I've seen that the men in my life, you know, I've seen with my father and with my husband, you know, they take time out for themselves. They'll go running. They'll take a shower. They'll have their lunch or dinner without getting up 7 times to, you know,
feed other people.
So without, you know, going
shoving food in other people's mouths,
without washing someone in the toilet, that, you know, without doing all. So they do that, and they are. You know, one of my friends once mentioned that, Huma, our husbands are like this, you know, their mental state is like this, and we're like this, you know, we go up and down like a wave. So we're like,
probably because we don't get that time.
Yeah. So we go high, we're high, and then we're low, and we're like totally, we lose it. And I noticed that. So now when my husband would come home, so I would be suddenly, I'm off the couch and I'm like, okay, I have to, you know. We should know that
I'm not getting off the couch for anyone.
We should know that I've been, you know, resting. So now when he comes, I'm like lying down on the couch and like feet on the wall.
Definitely
watching Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix, and he's like, he looks at me, I'm like, okay, he's like, I don't try not to feel guilty about it. I still feel like, oh, okay. But I'm like, okay, I'm not going to move. I'm going to watch this movie. I'm relaxing. So, I earn it. I earn this.
Yes,
so.
Exactly.
The funny thing about the Harry Potter marathons, though, is that we do that together.
Really?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
It's really funny, but we have to do that like every once in a
Oh,
while. It has to happen at least once a year.
That's just for me.
Did you see it on? It just actually was on TV, like all of them, like one.
I saw. I was like, oh my god, my husband was finishing Netflix.
Current affairs, people. Current affairs.
I was like, he was like, oh,
there you go, self-love.
Yeah.
That's how you take care of yourself.
And he's like, Huma, I'm not going to pay for Netflix. I was like, click. He's like, what did you do? I said, and, you know. So I'm going to watch. I said, Harry Potter's on Netflix now. We can't unsubscribe. So
there you go.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so cool to see you both. And you never fail to amuse me. So thank you. And some really, really good advice in there and really insightful conversations. So thank you for sharing. So just to lead us out, we're going to just share if you don't mind sharing your top tips for this episode, The Break from the Norm. So, Huma, starting with you, what is your top tip for breaks with the kids and the family?
Well, I guess that take it easy. Just let them be. Let them explore their own thoughts. Add a little something for them from which they can learn and grow also. And be easy on yourself. Things will work out. It's okay if you've done your marathon. Sort of, it never ends. If you've done your sentence or most of it, so it's okay to
lay on the sofa.
Yeah.
Susana, what's your top tip?
So my top tip would be, because we are such routine kind of people.
Yes.
So I think it's okay to kind of like set yourself up for success, kind of. So maybe do plan a few things. Organize a few activities or whatever it is that you want to accomplish during that break. However, keep an open mind. Just be flexible, because you need to kind of be okay with the fact that maybe something comes up, or you choose a fun activity rather than something that they're doing as part of staying in a routine or whatever. So so just basically set things up. However, just be open to being flexible.
Mm-hmm. So routines are good. They're not essential for breaks.
Yeah, there you go. Try your best. Because, I just kind of feel if you were able to stick to a tiny little bit of amount of routine, whatever that looks like for you, coming back is kind of like an easier transition than having to like start all the way from.
So don't go the whole hog with that.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what? If it happens, be flexible.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
All right, thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode of This Life podcast, brought to you by Learn Autism. And we'll see you again for the next episode. Take care.